do YouTube?
Before you...
Okay, we're going live, quick.
Welcome to Nanny's Craft Room.
Oh, it's gone finished again. How are you, Belle? I've got my granddaughter here with me tonight. Come here. Say hello to everyone. Wave to all the people out there. All the crafty people. Bella often comes in and does Bella's craft room with Nan. And tonight she wants to sit and watch me do my live. So she's going to be...
Nanny's Craft Room tonight.
Nanny's craft room tonight. Well, thank you to all my ladies that came today to our class. We did vellum cards today with the cardstock and some vellum. So this was one of the little easel cards that we actually made today, which was really cute. So it was really interesting that not a lot of people have actually worked with the vellum cardstock. So that was one of the ones that we made today. Also, I'd like to wish everyone a very happy and safe Easter. Take it easy if you're going away. The roads are always busy at Easter time. This is a 4U one, and I still haven't quite worked out how to get this riding around. But we've used the vellum here too, and it's really gorgeous the way, once you emboss it, how gorgeous it comes up, the flowers and that. I know Bella's itching to talk, but she's going to sit there quiet for me. And this is the third one that we did today, and we used a bit of embossing folder on here as well as just the black Memento ink and embossing. We actually used the stylus from our scoring board. So if you've never done parchment craft before or worked on vellum before, you will need to have a styling tool, and this one's perfect for it because it's got a wider end and a thinner end. Now if it starts to get a little bit sticky on the vellum, my tip to you is to rub it in your hair because your hair's got oils on it, so it actually slides around on the vellum really good, or rub it on your pants and it sort of gives a little bit of electricity. So that's my little tip for vellum. We'll do a vellum card one night. But tonight I'm really going to show you how to use our glossy white cardstock, which is in our main catalogue, and it comes in A4. You get 12, I think it's 12 sheets if I remember correctly. No, 10 sheets, sorry. 10 sheets for $12.25. A lot of people haven't worked on glossy, and some people might have worked on it years ago when Stampin' Up had it in, and then we had it taken out, and now it's come back in, and I'm very excited because I love it. It's not photo paper. A lot of people think because it's shiny, it's photo paper. It's not photo paper. It is especially for designed for working with glossy. So this is our card tonight. I'm going to start with a little, I'm going to do a beach theme. So I'm going to bring my camera down so hopefully we can see. I have changed things around a little bit tonight, so hopefully you will get to see things a lot clearer tonight than last week. We had black and white. Oh, we had a lot of things go wrong last week, didn't we, with the black and white. I'm just going to pop this on the silicone mat because it might pop out a little bit better for you. But I'm going to have to stick it on here. I'm going to get some black cardstock, I think, just so you can sort of see because I'm working white. Some brown. Something so you can sort of see. Yeah, that makes it stand out a lot better. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is actually make sure that we use a little bit of washi tape, and I love the washi tape because it doesn't actually mark our glossy paper, so I'm going to actually just use some washi tape just along here to hold the card while I'm actually using the ink pads on it. So we're actually going to do like a beach theme, so we're going to start off with our light ink first, and I've made a few, so I've got always keep your pieces of paper when you rip them, so just get a I use the grid paper, which is really good, and you're just going to rip it into how you want it. Okay, so I've already done that. So I've ripped my piece of paper, and this is just going to sort of give me some waves. Now I like to, because we're going to work our ink directly onto our glossy paper, so we're going to start off with our darker blue, which is the Marina Bay, and we're just going to hold our mask onto it, and we're going to just work out roughly where we want it, roughly. Okay, and then we're just going to come down and drag the ink pad. Now I'm just going to make sure that you can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm actually just dragging it. Now because it's glossy, you will get all these streaks and lines on it, so just keep working your ink pad backwards and forwards. It's virtually like using the old brayer, but you're using the ink pad instead of the brayer. So you're just going to work backwards and forwards on it, so it gives a beautiful effect. You can do this as many times as you want to the colour you want. So if you want it darker, you naturally would let that dry a little bit, and because it is glossy you can polish it off afterwards. We just moved that mask, and you can sort of see how we've sort of got waves coming up. It looks like little waves coming up in the water there. So this is our bottom piece. Then we're going to actually have a straight piece, which is going to be like the horizon. But before I do that, I just want to bring in, I like to just bring in a little bit of just like little waves through there. And we're going to use the Pool Party, which is a little bit lighter ink. Okay, so we're going to actually drag that down over, and it's all right dragging that over the top because it'll just make the bottom one a little bit darker. And just keep doing it until you sort of get all the lines out of it. Okay, so you can sort of see we'll move that off, so you can sort of see we're getting these little ripply type waves. Okay, then we want a horizon. So horizon's virtually a straight line, so we're going to use the other side of this grid paper. So this is the side I've been using, but we're going to use this straight side, and we're going to place this down on the card now because we're going to do a bit of a horizon, and this will give a bit more of a wavy effect as well. So we're going to come back down again. So you're coming right down over the whole lot, not just the top bit, but you're coming down over the colours that you've already done. So this is going to give you the horizon effect. So you've got this nice sort of straight line going through there. Now if you feel like you needed to go up a little bit higher because it wasn't quite enough, you can sort of keep working up a little bit and then just do the horizon again. Okay, so this is this way. So then we're going to actually do the sand down the bottom, and it's quite interesting using your ink pads. We're using soft suede this time. So if you ever want to stamp along with me, grab your stuff out, write me a little note saying I want to do it with you, and yeah, I can always put up what we're using. So we're just going to come in here with the soft suede, but instead of dragging it like this, because you're only going to get a really light colour because I've got the dark already blue under there, we're just going to actually pat it down onto it, and you'll see that you'll get a very darker type effect for sand. You get light and dark. How cool does that look? Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Now the thing with glossy paper too is you must give it time to dry a little bit, okay, because it will smudge if you run your fingers across it. Okay. So we're going to actually start making the picture a little bit now. So we're going to come in with the leaves up the top. So I'm just going to take this washi tape off. And as you can see, it just doesn't even mark the glossy paper. It doesn't leave any marks there or anything else, which is really good. So you can just stick that washi tape there and you can use it again later. I'm just going to move that little bit of brown out of the way for the moment. Oh no, I'll turn it over so you can see. It does help, doesn't it? Yes. Get those washi tapes out of the way. Okay, so we're going to start making our cards. So at the moment we've got the sand and the water. So now we're going to add some leaves up the top. And this is from our stamp set we were using a couple of weeks ago actually. It's absolutely beautiful, the leaves. If you wanted to, and you've got I forget the name of the stamp set actually, but it's got the flamingo in it, the flamingo stamp set. It's got ferns in it, and some of the other stamps have got ferns types in it as well, fern type leaves that you could actually use if you wanted to make it more tropical, a tropical theme. But I'm actually just going to do the leaves. So I'm going to start off with my dark green, and we're going to use Emerald Envy. Some of these names, they're just gorgeous, aren't they? You've got to try to remember how to say them. So we're just going to stamp from the top down. So I'm just going to stamp some leaves in here. And I hope you can see tonight. Okay, so we're just bringing in a couple of dark ones there. We're just going to wash our stamp. Now the one thing you do have to be very careful of is you will get these hollow bits if you pull your stamp out off too quick off the I'm just going to hold this up, but because it's on the leaves you'll see you'll get these little hollow bits, but because it's on the leaves it's not so bad. I don't mind that, but on some images you will not want a hollow. So on Glossy you need to make sure that you actually hold it down just a little bit. So I'm going to use the lemon line twist over the top of that, just off-centered a little bit, just so it gives it a bit of a shadow effect. And you can sort of see that we got a little bit of a shadow effect. Okay, and we're just going to come down with the other one as well. So about there. It just gives it quite a nice two-shade, two-tone. Okay. Which is nice. How you going there, Belle? Good? Yep. She's doing the thumbs up at me, so she's good. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do on here, and I actually took the time out to use the Big Shot. I'm going to actually pop a little chair up there, and I actually used the Big Shot and cut this out earlier for you. It's out of our beautiful seasonal layer thinlits, and yeah, it's gorgeous, that little chair. But I'm going to put some grass and our little birds on next. Let's get the right size block. Now these are the ones where you don't want to pull out too hard, because you don't want your birds looking very patchy, but sometimes it can be. So I'm going to actually use the Memento ink, and you're going to just hold for a couple of minutes and let the ink soak into that glossy paper. Hold your glossy paper and then lift up, and that's the best way to get your birds off. Now you'll see that ink is still wet. It's still wet, so you've got to be really mindful that it is wet and that you will want to not smudge it. Okay, so you do have to be mindful that it stays wet longer on glossy paper, the ink does. So we're going to actually put some flowers on here too, and we're going to actually stamp over those birds, because with our bit of grass. And we're going to come back in with the two colours that we were using before, Emerald Envy and the Lemon Lime Twist. And the grass comes out of, and the birds come out of our High Tide stamp set. And I've got about 4 different stamp sets that I'm using on this card tonight, just for a variety. So we've used the clear one, now we're using the photopolymer stamp, and then we're going to also use a block stamp, so that you sort of see that it doesn't matter which one you use, you can use. Okay, so we are going to be a bit mindful. Okay, so this is going to slide, and you don't want it to slide right across your card, so you do have to be very careful, because it will stay wet. Okay, and it will slide when you're putting your ink down, so make sure you hold it, and hold it nice and still so that it doesn't slide. Okay. And then we just might pop a little bit more grass in. Yeah, and the good thing about the birds being black, we can actually stamp over the top of them, because it looks like they're either behind the grass or in front of the grass, so it doesn't really matter. It looks really good, so you don't need to actually mask them. Okay. Hello, Stacey. I can see you're watching us. Did you know Stacey's watching us? It looks really good, Mum. Thank you. It's nice. So we're going to come down with our lemon lime twist now. So just remember we're going to offset it a little bit. So we're just going to go over the top. Just hold it for a few minutes. Place your finger down. Remember not to place your finger down onto anywhere where it's glossy, like where you've got ink that might be wet, because you will smudge it. Okay, so we're just going to pop our little bit of shadowing effect happening behind there. Okay, so you can sort of see that we're actually starting to build a great little picture here for our card. So it's like painting, really. If you like painting, you're going to love doing this. Now, the next one that we've got is we're going to use a stem, and I'm using the Friendship Sweet Thought one, and I'm going to actually use this piece here because it looks like it's got leaves on it as well, and it's quite sweet to make stems out of. So we're going to make stems for our flowers, and we're going to do this in the soft suede. So we'll just get the soft suede out from under here. And we're going to do some, and the reason why I want to pop some flowers on is just to balance out the red that I'm going to be using with our chair later. So I'm just going to actually come in and pop these over the top of the birds again. And I love this, it's because it's got little bows on them that looks like leaves, and just do them all different sizes. So we're just going to place these in. I'm going to just do a couple more into this one here. And I'm just going to do one more in down here. Okay, so you can sort of see how I've got the stems coming up behind. They look cute, don't they?
It looks like it's on a hill.
Yeah, it looks really cute. So now we're going to actually use a stamp that's is our wood one, and it comes out of our Hello Friend stamp set, which is this one here. And I love this one. It's got just big hellos, great. And I've actually done some of these ones with the hello up the top, which is really great. But it's got a bunch of flowers on it, which is really cute. So if I've put those stems pretty well where I need them, hopefully our flowers will match up on top. Normally I stamp the flowers first and then put the stems to it, but wasn't thinking about that tonight. So let's see how well I've lined this up. What do you reckon, Belle? Do you reckon I've lined it up pretty awesome? Once again, hold it. Just remember not to wiggle it around or smudge. That's not too bad. So you can sort of see we've got our little flowers sitting on top of our stems now, which is really cute. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our mini glue dots. Now I love mini glue dots. They are so small you can hardly see them on here because they're clear. So they're very little, very little. You probably wouldn't even be able to see that. You can't even see it on this end of my finger, but I'm just going to roll it a little bit and just put it on the back of our chair. So we're going to need a couple of them to roll, and one over here, and we're just going to roll another one over here. Pop that down on here. Now they're very, very sticky, so you don't need a lot of them, which is a really good thing. Now, like I said, you've got to be really careful and very mindful that over this side it's still a little bit wet. So we're going to put our chair up there so starting to get, can't you just visualise sitting on the chair overlooking the ocean with the birds walking past and some branches, you're sitting under the shade. It's just beautiful. I think so. But guess what? We need a cool drink. Don't you reckon we need a cool drink? Yeah. So in our thin light dies, which I've actually run through earlier, we've got our little chair and we've got our little drink. But it also matches up very nicely with one of our stamp sets. And I will show you how to use the Big Shot one night for those people that would like to see how to use the Big Shot. So we've got our little drink bottle there. Now I just want to show you how, because we're going to do two colours, and we're going to do, just going to move this out of the way for a minute just so I don't smudge it. Okay, so we're going to actually do the bottom. We're going to use our markers, and I love using the markers because you can actually use two colours. These are not textures, by the way, they are markers. A lot of people think they're textures and they buy them for their kids, but they actually have got ink in them. Not, they've got the same ink as what's in our ink pads. So you can actually refill these with your ink refillers the same as you can actually refill your inks, okay? So we have a thick end, which we've got a thick line here, and we've got a thin line on this side, which is our writing one. But the one thing I want to say is please store them horizontal like this, because if you don't store them horizontal and you store them up like this, your writing one will dry out. Or if you store them up this way, your felt pen, your marker part where you're drawing your stamps will dry out as well. So we're going to do the bottom, and I'm just going to hold this up so you can sort of see what I'm doing. We're going to colour the bottom of the glass in yellow, and then we're going to give it a red straw. So you can sort of see we're going to give it a little red straw, and I'm just going to stamp that straight down here so you can sort of see what it's like just on the paper here. But we actually did one a little bit earlier, and this is what it comes out like. It comes out like this cute little cup with a straw on it, and I don't know if you can quite see that. I'm going to see if I can get close, but yeah, we've got our little cup. So anyhow, once again, be very mindful of picking up your card because it's still a little bit wet. We're just going to use a couple of mini glue dots behind this little cup. Just so we can raise him up a little bit, but not too much. And they are a silicone dot, so they are clear. It's very hard to see them. And I'm going to stick that on our chair handle. Okay, now we have our drink. So we've got our nice little cold drink sitting over here, sitting on the chair. How's that? Now the last thing we need to do is we need to stamp out a verse, and so we've got life is beautiful, a beautiful thing, and we're going to use the indigo, Island Indigo. Island Indigo, where is it? Here it is. So we're going to use the Island Indigo, and the reason I'm using the Island Indigo with the writing is because our card that I've cut before is Island Indigo, and it matches up really nice. And it's the one thing that I love about the Stampin' Up paper and cards is everything coordinates, so you can really get the gift of adding something and it doesn't look out of place. It really looks beautiful. Now I love these photopolymer stamps as well because they are see-through and you can actually see where you're actually going to place this down. Now once again, like I said, you really do have to be really careful. Hi Nicole, how are you? You're enjoying. I'm so glad you're enjoying. So I don't look at the screen very often, so if you've gone past and I've missed you, I apologise for that. So just place it down where you feel where you want it. But just remember, place it down, hold for a few minutes, try not to wiggle it around because it will smudge, and then hold your card and lift. So you get this beautiful thing saying up the top there. And you can sort of see how beautiful it is to make a card using glossy paper. Bella's smiling. She's really enjoying watching me do this tonight. Yeah, so that's really good. So I'm just going to fold our card. So I've actually cut the card out before. And it's 14 centimetres. 14.5 centimetres, I mean. And on a 21, and that's 21 centimetres. So 21, which is the width of an A4 piece of paper. So I've just cut the A4 piece of paper off at 14.5. Sometimes I cut it off at 15, but 14.5 just gives you a really nice size card. So 14.5 centimetres. And then with this very glossy white is 14 by 10. And that fits perfectly into our card then, with a little bit of a border. Now, because this is still wet, as you can see, it's still very wet, I'm not going to actually turn it over and stick it on just yet, because if I do that, I'm going to smudge all the writing. So I'm going to give that time to dry. But I'm going to pop this back up so you can see me. Hi, everyone. I just want to mention our April hostess code. Our last one's just closed off tonight, and thank you to all the ladies that placed online orders with me this month. It's amazing. Just keep the orders coming in. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? That's Beth. Beth, you always confuse me when you use your proper full name. But our hostess code for April is all in capital: M for Mum, S for Sam, B for Brenda, R for Ronnie, N for Nana, Y for Yacht, T for Teresa, and Y for Yacht. So that's our hostess code. It is on our my Facebook page, and I will pop it on also to my blog for you so that you can see it. But anyone that orders online through using the online hostess code, if your order is under $250, this really helps Ronald McDonald House Charity, which we're hoping to get down to the Ronald McDonald House sometime this year in May, to give all these gifts that we're getting to the children that are in hospital. I really love that we have our Ronald McDonald stamp too this year at the back of our catalogue. And for every stamp that is sold, this is the jar one, which is really lovely. Stampin' Up also will donate $3 to Ronald McDonald House. So please, for April, let's all try to buy the Ronald McDonald stamp set if you haven't got it. So it works two ways. It can help with Stampin' Up giving donations to Ronald McDonald, but it also helps us with our hostess code to get some extra cardstock and stuff to take down on our day that we're going down to spend with the children. These are children that are suffering really bad, and a lot of their families live a long way away. So please come in and help with that. But if your order is over $250, please use the hostess code yourself, because you will get some free spending. So that's important that you get that free spending as well. So this was our little card tonight. Absolutely gorgeous. So it's all stuck down and absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I want to thank everyone for stopping by tonight. I hope you enjoyed. Will the Stamparatas work? With the glossy paper. I haven't tried it yet, Beth. That's something I will be trying next week. I will let you know whether it does. The glossy paper, it probably would, as long as you have your magnets pretty firm on your glossy paper, because you wouldn't want it's a smudge, but I'd say it would work, yes. But look, I'll give it a go. We might even do a little bit of a demo next Thursday night. So Bella, do you want to come around and say goodbye to everyone? Come on. And soon we'll be having another Bella's Craft Room coming up, so she loves to do her cards. So what do you think?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank the people.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching us tonight, and have a beautiful, safe Easter. Happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll catch you later. Bye.